If you want to create a weaving from ribbon or fabric, maybe kind of like this one, we're going to learn how to do that right now. All right, so step one, like always, is gathering your materials. So I grabbed some scrap fabric that I had on hand. That could be a t-shirt, rag, whatever you have on hand. Some ribbon I had, tape, scissors, marker or pencil, my cardboard piece. I've already just cut this. This is from that LaCroix box. And yes, I believe that is it. So step one, like always, is making your loom. So if you notice, there's already some little cuts on this side that I just went ahead and did. Notice how they are even. They're about 1/2 inch apart. And a really easy way to get the same cuts on this opposite side is to fold this in half. Kind of hold it in there. Take your marker or pencil, just lift up each one and use this almost as a stencil or a tracer to get your cuts in the same place that they are on the top as the bottom. So these slits right here almost act like tape. They're there to kind of wedge our fabric or our ribbon in place, to wedge our warp fabric in place. So now I already have these lines right here. I'm going to carefully just use the back of my scissors to cut along those lines. I want to cut maybe a little less than 1 inch in. You don't want to cut too little or else nothing will stay in there, but not too long. Make sure that the cuts are pretty even. And this is actually a really traditional way of making a loom, or the way that looms are created is with these little slits. All right, so this is making the loom. Now it's time to get the warp pieces, the warp threads together. I already have mine pre-cut, but if you haven't have them pre-cut, you're gonna just take your fabric, and a really easy way to cut them fast is to get a piece of fabric and kind of fold it in half. Take your scissors, put it in the end, and kind of cut along that folded seam. Take this fabric, fold it in half again, and cut along that seam. Actually, it's not wanting to stay folded, so I'm just going to cut it like this. You do not want your strips too wide. I'd probably say that this is too wide, but this is a good thickness. Once you have some strips that would go across from the top to the bottom, you are ready. So actually, I just noticed these are probably too short to reach the top to the bottom. So instead, I'm going to use this strip when I'm weaving my weft. But I do have these strips, which are a little bit longer, and these are going to be my weft strips. So I'm going to start at the very left. I'm going to take a little bit of the end here, and I want to wedge it around the back. You can see it around the back through that first slit. You can kind of pull it up a little bit, wedge it back, take the opposite end and do the very same thing to the first slit. So here it is, and to secure it, I want to grab a little bit of tape and kind of bunch these pieces together, or this little piece together, and just tape it securely. You don't want it super, super loose, so you want to pull it a little bit tight so that your warp pieces are very stable. Tape it down. So that is how to create the warp pieces. You would literally do this the whole way down, wedging it on the top and the bottom, and taping it on the back. This is kind of time consuming, so I'm not going to do the full thing, but I am going to show you right here. So this one's done, but I'm going to take a few out just for video purposes, and talk about the weft. So my weft strips are already created. You'd have those ready. And you want to weave the same weaving pattern that we have been weaving in our other two videos. Remember, this one starts under, so this next one is going to start over. So over, under, over, under, over, under. You get the idea? And pull it through. This one kind of flopped over, so I'm going to fix it. All right, pull it even. If your fabric or whatever gets all twisted up, you can actually just pull it taut, pull it tight on either end, and adjust it so that it sits nicely. Don't leave any gaps. Pull it up nice and tight. And there you are. I'm going to do opposite color, so navy pink, under, over. Remember, I'm starting under on this one because on the previous row, I started over. If you ever go double, just always go back and fix that before moving on to the next row. And I would bring this all the way down to the bottom, scoot them up. If it looks like you have any more space, just go up here, scoot these up so you can fit in maybe another row. And that is the fabric weaving.